Hi there and welcome to the Swanford and Rose Wreath tutorial. So you've bought your Wreath DIY set and inside of that you'll find a ring, stubs, lotus heads, oranges, apples, limes, dried flowers, a bow, wire, fresh eucalyptus, fresh fir, fresh conifers and some other greenery in there as well. So most of all of this has been taken from local and small businesses, and all the dried materials that we've used is actually either been grown here or just up the road and always dried at my house. So let's get on with the tutorial and I'll see you in the next section. So once you've received your DIY set, if you're not using it straight away, I would recommend to keep things as fresh as they can be. Take out the eucalyptus and the conifer and put it in some water. The fir should be okay, but if you can leave that outside, that's even better. So let's get on with the mossing. So we're just about to moss our ring. If you've asked us to pre-moss your ring, that's absolutely no problem, and I'll see you in the next section. So let's get our wire. We're going to poke it through the top and there, and then what we're going to do is we're going to twist it and loop it around. Just a few loops will do, but I like to do it a little bit overkill and do lots. Okay, there we go. Just make it straight like that. Then what we need to do is we need to go around the ring, and this just makes sure that when we put the moss on the back, it's got something to attach to. So just keep going all the way around. You've got plenty of wire, so don't worry about not having enough. Just keep going. And now you're ready to add it. Okay, now we're going to add the moss. So you want to make little sausages, as my mum likes to call it. I'm not quite sure why. I'm pretty sure that's not the technical term. So what we're going to do is we're just going to put that on the wire and the ring, just like that. We haven't chopped this off. This is still that's going to be there for quite some time. So we're going to wrap it round. I'm just going to do it twice, maybe 3 times. And then add the next one. Make sure you give yourself a generous helping. You don't want to make it too thin. Put another layer on. Maybe a little bit more, just there. You might want to think about not using your favourite tablecloth to do this. So I'd probably use a little bit of cardboard underneath, especially because the moss can be a little bit messy. All the way around, and then we're just going to go all the way around, and then we'll be ready for the next part. Once it's all around, give it a little bit of an examine. So I've just noticed that actually you can see a little bit of your ring on this side, so I'm just going to get a bit more moss. Don't be afraid just to reapply until you're really happy. So give it a bit of a squeeze as well. It just makes it more in a nicer, tighter clump. So there we go. I'm now pretty happy with that. And then once it is all on, just go round and round again. One final time. Just a little bit more here. Just one final time, and then you'll have yourself a lovely ring. 2 pieces of equipment you might need are some scissors and some secateurs. So once you fix this, you might have a few little offcuts here. So just give it a bit of a trim all the way around so there's no little bits sticking out that you wouldn't want to see a bit later. Okay, now we'll get the secateurs and we're going to start to look at our eucalyptus and fir. So here we go, this is a pretty big branch, so what we're going to do is we're going to just chop these off. So one here, one there. You don't have to do them all straight away, so just do a few bits until then when we start putting them on you work out your own system. So obviously I'm going to be making this in patterns that I like, but you might kind of just swap them around and have some different placements, and that's completely okay. So once you've done that, do that to the eucalyptus and the conifer, and then we'll start attaching it to the wreath. When chopping your eucalyptus, you've got these really long stalks. You use them wisely. So here we go. I'm just going to make sure that I'm just going to nip this at the bottom there, so then you've got the leaf at the top. So actually just this one long stalk can get you lots of cuttings like that. I'll just keep going. I'll have that one like that. That one's probably a little bit short. I probably don't want it there, so I'll probably actually nip that just there. When you actually cut down the eucalyptus, you'll find some bits like this with the bigger stalks. You won't actually want to use those, so we'll just take those over there. Right then, let's get cracking. So the idea is that you have the biggest pieces on the back and then layer up the smaller pieces on top. So you might decide to have a really big bit of fir, and then stick the conifer, smaller piece of conifer, and then the eucalyptus on top of that, which is quite nice. Or you might decide to do it the opposite way, have a really big bit of conifer and then put smaller pieces of fir on top of that. It depends on what you are after, and then as you go around you can change it up if you want to, so the design can slightly alter and just makes it look a bit unique. So here we go. So I'm going to actually use I think I'm going to use a big bit of conifer first. So I'm going to put 2 pieces here. I'm going to add the fir on top. I've got 2 pieces like that. I'm going to put 1 sprig of eucalyptus on top of that, and then I'm going to place that just here. So you've got 2 ways to do this. If you want it really big, you have it out like that. If you want it a little bit more tight knit, have it more of an angle like that. So I'm fancying making a big one, so let's move that across here so it's sticking out. Make sure that the tip here of the stem of the eucalyptus, you can actually get hold of it when we wire it around. So here's the wire, so we're going to go once round. Actually I've tilted it there, so tilt it outwards, go round, round again. Usually 2's okay, but put it really tight. The tighter it is, the more firm it is on your ring. I'm going to go one more time, just hold it into place, and that's it. Okay, so now for the next piece. This time I think we'll use a bigger piece of fir, so there we go, and then a smaller piece of conifer. So let's put that on top of there, and then let's use some dried flowers. So this is called Silver Sussex, just here. I'm going to put 2 pieces together, so you don't have to use all of it, or you could, it's up to you. So I'm just going to pull a few bits. Actually, let's use another one here. So we've got 3 of those. I'm going to stick that on top, maybe a little bit more fir on top of that after that. Now you've got to be careful where your wire is. So the idea is you don't want to see bare wires. So as my wiring is here, I'm going to place this just here, so it overlaps that wire. Now you've got to be also careful of the nice bits of eucalyptus that you've got poking out. You don't want to just put it on top and hide it. So I'm just going to part this a little bit, so you've got, and then I'm going to pull this eucalyptus through a little bit so that's nice and popping out. You can see a little bit of a gap there, so actually I'm going to put another piece of just in here, and that just makes it look a little bit more tidy, a bit more aesthetic as well. You can leave little gaps as well, so obviously the more things you put in, the nicer it looks, but also do please leave gaps, because obviously you're going to put your fruits in, you're going to put more dried flowers in as well, so you need to make room for that. So let's wire this second piece round. Again, go around 2 or 3 times, making it as tight as you can. So as you can see, I've left a little bit of a gap here, but that's no problem at all, because we'll just fill that in. As you can see, this is poking out here, so we'll just move that around like that. Great, it's in. Right, so this time I think I'm going to use some calfness as well, so that's going to be obviously on top. You want to see your flowers, and we'll just repeat that all again, and I'll see you in the next section when we're just adding in some of those flowers. So also we've got, let's not forget about the Demosa. So you've got a big branch of those, so just pull those apart like that. So here we go, I've decided to use another big bit of conifer, followed by a bit more fir. Let's add a bit more of that as well. Let's add a little bit of eucalyptus on top. This time I'm going to do it in a different direction. Let's add a bit of Demosa at the bottom, and then I'm going to add some calfness, so some nice dried foliage in there. So repeat, so put that over your wire, tuck in the calf. I like the calfness kind of the ring side, but you can poke it further out. The longer your stems, obviously, the longer it extends outwards. So let's go around a few times, and then you also need to think about how it looks around the edge. So because it's quite tight just there, you might decide actually let's have a few things poking out this way. So instead of there, I'm going to put that here, so that's going to go there, or you can use just like a bit more smaller bits of fir, so you can poke this way, and then you've just got a little bit of airy foliage that just covers up the bottom dots. Wrap it around again, and we'll just keep going. So here's halfway through, so it's looking like that so far. So just be mindful that obviously your larger bits, make them like that for your bases, okay? So not the smaller ones, so obviously you can group them together, but that's what you're really after. Also, when I'm actually doing this video out of season, so there will be different sorts of eucalyptus that we will be using, so don't worry about that. And you might find little gaps in what you've done around, so make sure it's really tight, and as you go around we can plug those up as well. So as it goes around, just make sure that when you wire it, you can go in and around and underneath the foliage so you don't see the wire, and then when you can go around again you can plug those bits up. So let's just do one more. So I've got some of this, let's add another piece. Let's go for that, a bit more eucalyptus. Let's have it out, I'm gonna put that in there. Then also I've got a smaller piece that I'm just gonna put, angling it across into the hole, just so you've got different dimensions. Really pull so it's tight. Put it around, pull it again really hard, because especially when you put things like your Demosa in, they can slip out, or the eucalyptus, so kind of give them a little tug and hopefully they're completely firmly in. I do quite like these guys to be either close in or out. I'm not such a fan of the middle because we're going to put the fruits and the cones there. So this one I'm going to have out like that. Bring it round again. So I've already wired some of this in, but I'm going to just wire the demoser in separately, just so it's in a nice spot. Move it around a little bit so you're happy with its position. Job done. If you're not happy with something, do feel free to unwire it and go back a bit and just kind of take it up and just examine. So, because you don't want something really, really tall and heavy one side and then get thinner and thinner, or the opposite way. So just kind of look like there. Yeah, I'm quite happy with it. I want to put some extra stuff here, and yeah, let's keep going. So this is the finished article. I'm quite happy with that. Then the next job you need to do is cut the wire. Now, since it's taken me a few takes to do with a few slip-ups of wordings, I've already snipped it. So I'll pretend I've done it. So literally get your scissors, snip it off, give yourself a little bit of room just here. Then what we're going to do is we're going to get at the back, hook it around the wire frame. Make sure that once you've done that, it's really tight. So can be a bit fiddly sometimes, especially with all the foliage and the moss. There we go, it's poked through now. Pull it really, really tight. Then you might want to go around again, up to you, or just poke it through. And then once that's through and you're happy that it's in and it's tight, get the scissors, chop off any excess. Boom. Okay, now we're ready to wire our fruits. So we're going to get our fruits here and our seed pods, and you're going to need your stubs. So with this one, I'm just going to poke it through the lotus head, all the way through, twist it round like this, and then twist it again so it actually locks it in place. So then you've got two little wires poking up. The next one we can do is we've got our cones. So in the same way, get your stubs, fix it in around the bottom bits so you're not seeing the wire. Again, twist it round. Oops, so can you see that I accidentally done one short and one long, so I might redo that so it's the same length together. I'll probably do that a little bit later. And then you have your fruits as well. So again, I like to put two together like this. It just makes it makes it a little bit stronger. Poke it through, and again twist it around your apples and your oranges. Okay, now we're ready to fix it. Okay, so once you've wired in your fruits and cones, we're now going to attach it. So also, if you have another inspect, if something's a little bit long you're not happy with, feel free to just get your scissors and give it a little bit of a trim. So I particularly left a little bit of a hole just here. So as you can see, it's kind of just like a bit of a spacing here. That is perfect for your cones. So I'm going to stick it right here. I don't know why, but my mum likes it that way. I like it outwards. So I work with my mum.
You could do one of each.
Oh, she's spoken. She's also my camera lady for today. You could do one of each, yeah, that way and that way, but I'm not mum, no, sorry. So in it goes around, and then actually I've just noticed that actually this one I can't quite fit it all around the ring to attach it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to poke it through the middle part all the way through. So it goes through the fir, through the moss. It can be a bit fiddly sometimes, so give it a good push. Sometimes the wire bends as well, so you have to reposition it, but it will go with a little bit of force. There we go. Now it's through. I'm just going to pull it a little bit, twist it, and now that cone is firmly in. So then just keep adding, and then do your fruits in exactly the same way. So here you have a fruit. Look for a little bit of a gap, or particularly if you can see any excess wire that's poking out. That's the perfect place to put them. So again, poke it through, goes all the way through the back, through the moss. This has gone in a bit easier. I quite like it upwards like that, so it's more of a flatter way. Some of the florists like to part them, so then you've got a bit more surface area like that. So it's just personal preference, but I'm going to do it flat like that, so you can actually see the surface. Keep going. We've got some apples. Let's stick that in the middle at the top. Oh, that one's gone nicely in as well. I'm happy about that. There we go. So it's looking like this so far. Let's go for maybe the lotus head. I do love lotus heads. They're a seed pod. I think they're African, so not one that I've grown in my garden this time. So push that down. You might also decide there's a few things in your actual garden that you'd like to put in with some different foliages. You might have some different firs, or some holly. There we go. So we're drawing to the end of our tutorial. So here's the finished article that I've made. So I'm pretty happy with that. So I really want to say here's one I made earlier, but I've just been making it out, and you know that, right? So big Blue Fleeter fan. So now we've got one last thing to do. We've got the ribbon. So choose a spot. Obviously, you want where you've made it. You can see where you kind of envisage the top of the wreath being. So some people like to do a bow to the side, sometimes on the top. Some people like it on the bottom. I always prefer it down the bottom and have a nice little droop. So here we go. What we're going to do is we're going to bunch it up. So we're going to start here. We're going to leave I call it the droop here, and we're just going to turn it into a loop just there. Then bring it up and give it another loop, so it's the same level as the top one, and then you just keep on going, adding the loops like that. So it can be a bit delicate, so obviously that's still there. I'm just pushing this up so it's level, bringing it down, collecting it with my thumb, and then I've got the same length loop roughly to about there. If you're not quite happy, you can also snip it off at the bottom. So we've got this like that. Now we're going to attach another stub, and we're going to wrap it around the ribbon. So here's the stub, twist it around like this, make it tight, can twist the metal stub around and around. That just firmly fixes it into position. And then again, like your fruits, you've got two little tails like that. So I always thought that my ribbon was going to be down here. So make sure that your tails are this way. Like the fruits, push them through. All the way down, and then just flip your wreath over, but actually I can feel the two tails of the stubs actually behind it, so I'm actually going to do it without turning it upside down. I'm going to twist it around so it's firmly into place. I like to twist it a lot, to be fair, and then if you twist it a lot, then that means it will become one stub, and then you can just poke it into position through the moss at the back, inside the moss, and there we go. It's a pleasure teaching you how to make this wreath, and I just want to say thank you very much for ordering with us, and yeah, I hope to see you soon. So please think of us if you'd like anything dried flowers. We do lots of Mother's Days, lots of anniversaries, anything like that. We do lots of bespoke flowers as well. So if you want a particular colour palette, and weddings, we do lots and lots of weddings of dried flowers. So thank you very much, and I'll see you soon.